Hello, welcome everybody to Erie Wellness Connect. We are on episode 6, and I'm super excited to have Rachel McCreary here. Rachel, you have so much energy and positivity that just radiates from you, and I'm not even really quite sure where to start with you because you have so many things going on. But I think our best bet is to maybe start a little bit on the personal side, then we'll jump into Presley Pear, which is the original reason why I wanted you on here. I found you on Instagram and I loved all the things I saw that was happening there. And then of course your bigger projects that you have going on. So Rachel, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. It's super fun to be here. And it was great to meet you last week when you stopped by.
Yeah. So I asked you when we first hopped on here how things were going for you on this beautiful Monday. And what did you say to me?
I said it's full of bows, hearts, pink, and cute things.
Yes, that's what I love about you. Your space itself, it was just so visual and just drew me in. And your Instagram itself, I thought it was just gorgeous. So I was like, who is this person? I want to get to know her. So that's what we're going to do here today, Rachel, is get to know each other, okay?
Sounds great.
All right. So Rachel, let's start off a little bit personal. You're originally from Erie, is that correct?
Yep. Erie, Mill Creek, McDowell, Penn State Barons, all of that.
All right. Born and raised. We love our Erie people,
Yes.
don't we? Yes.
Yes.
All right. So let's jump into Presley Pear. Tell me a little bit about what the heck, because the name itself doesn't necessarily tell you what it is. So tell us, what is Presley Pear?
It's a creative arts and crafts studio for anyone, any age. A lot of times I feel like it's 10 and under, but now all of a sudden we have a lot of ladies' nights coming up. We do a lot of birthday parties. It's just a fun place to come and play and create. My idea was to create a space for kids here at the shop because for the last 6 solid years, my husband, Pat, and I have been redeveloping this warehouse, which is 27,000 square feet. So we've been taking it bay by bay, and over the years, we have some great tenants. I feel like we have 10 small businesses inside here. A lot of them are artists. They're into film, like Menagerie. There's choreography and dance. There's woodworkers. Our latest is now we have a restaurant. So we have Stephanie from Give a Crepe. She moved in September. And now we have a cute store, Corey Cardot, that's called Gem City Mercantile. And so these are all spaces that were former warehouse or office spaces. And we had gallery nights, like the first 5 years of existence. So we were kind of artsy to the creative crowds of Erie, but for adults.
Yes.
So how the whole Presley Pear thing started was, wait a minute, I want my kids to come here. So we have 2 kids. They're 10 and 12, Isla Pear and Gwen Presley. And so in my life behind the scenes at the shop, I'm playing with them and we're making stuff all the time. And so I thought, hey, we have this one space here, which was formerly called the High Bay. It's got really high ceilings. They're 30 feet high. And we chose to create this, turn it into Presley Pear, and have it be specifically a place where it's safe and fun for kids to come.
I love it. So, and that's what I was talking about, right? So you have the shop on 19th, right? Which
Yes.
when we talked about that earlier, even in our emails, I imagine when you guys had that space beforehand, you guys probably just called it the shop on 19th, right?
Yes.
And so that's
Yes.
where, because I was calling it the shops, because you have several different shops in there. So, but it
Yes.
is born from, because you guys have had that property for how long then?
It's like 50 or 55 years. It was McCreary Roofing. They do industrial and metal roofing. They do hospitals, schools, facades, like facade of the Children's Museum, the Art Museum, the new Cathedral Prep, like anything metal. Pat really likes to do that. And then the big roofs of all the schools and the hospitals. So we're a commercial and industrial company. I also have a background in real estate. That's how I met Pat was I was right out of college. I got my license in real estate and he was looking for his first income property. So I sold him a 4-unit apartment downtown on West 9th. And that was our start of McCreary Living, which is another that's kind of what the shop is under.
Okay.
So anyways, I'm losing my train of thought, but that's how I met Pat. We're in real estate. Okay, so then maybe 12 years ago, they were okay here, but they needed to expand. So we found them a building. It's over off of East Avenue, and it's 70,000 square feet.
That's right. We were talking about that. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So they doubled or more than doubled their square footage, moved over there. And that's how we had this place, which was rusty, old, and needed a facelift.
So when did you start? So that's what I was kind of talking about, that chicken and egg. How did it all come about? Right. So when did you start developing the shop on 19th to become more of an artsy community type of center, really?
The date that sticks in my head is September of 2019. And that was our first gallery night. And we partnered with Menagerie Web Studios, and both studios who does woodworking. I feel like Erie Arts and Culture was involved. We were probably working on things for a few years before that, but that was our first event.
Right. So it's slowly been developing into this beautiful community center. And so Rachel, for me, a lot of times my best ideas come to me when I'm driving in my car. So I have a little recorder that I press whenever I need to get things off my head. And the reason why I want people like you, and I want to showcase people like you who are developing these community centers for people, is, to me, what wellness is and what's important is, as a person in your downtime, it's very important to make sure that you're doing things that are positive and productive. Because our downtime is where things can get constructive for people or destructive, right? So when we have people creating these spaces for our community where people can come and freely express themselves and create a community and become friends with people, this is what's very, very important in our type of community like this. So this is why I want to showcase people like you. And this is why, to me, this is what Erie Wellness Connect is all about. And I want people to get to know you so that they feel comfortable coming to your shop on a Saturday afternoon when they have nothing to do. They don't know what to do with themselves. And maybe instead of going to a bar, they come there and they make friends and they do some arts and crafts and they go to Gem City Mercantile and they have a crepe with Stephanie and they start to feel at home with each other, right? So that is what I really love what you're doing there. So tell us a little bit more about kind of what your plan is for the shop on 19th. Like, what do you feel you're doing there for the community?
Okay, you just named it. So for the first 5 years, it's been pretty private. So we have really cool artsy tenants, but they don't necessarily have their doors open for the regular people to come in unless, you want to book an appointment. So to have a real restaurant with real hours was huge. And now it's just the coolest thing. So having Give a Crepe open was step number one. Presley Pear is great. I'm still not open every single hour of the day. So it's more book time. And my hours are kind of like 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. to come in and book, unless we go over things in advance and we set up a different time for your group to come in. And Corey at Gem City having regular hours is great. And then also we have several spaces inside the shop that are available to book your own event. So a baby shower, a bridal shower, a corporate event. I'm just starting to get into like corporate and wellness events, which is exciting. So that means other people, you can come in and this becomes your space. It's what you want to do here and what you want to showcase here.
Yes. So you were showing me, and this is really good for people to know, that you do have space there. It's an event space that people can rent out for, like you were saying, bridal showers, corporate events, and various things like that. Tell us a little bit about that space, maybe what it would take to rent that out, and like how big is it? How much does something like that cost? What are you looking for specifically to get in that space?
There's a few different spaces. They range between $1,500 and and 3,000 square feet. We also have a nice courtyard. So when the weather gets nice, we'll open up the garage door and you can have an indoor-outdoor event, which is my favorite. Yeah, you'll have to come back when it's warmer.
Yes, absolutely, for sure.
Prices vary depending on the event. So that's something you could reach out to me and tell me a little bit more about who's coming, how long the event you're planning is. But it's all fun. It's all custom. I like to decorate. I like to rearrange all the time. So to personalize anything that we can to help you and your event succeed it's just really fun for us.
You're working with I'm not going to say it.
Bella Fiore flower walls.
Right.
Yes.
So are they part of the shop on 19th as well? Do they have a shop there in there too?
We're working on it. Yep. She just moved in January 1st. The idea is you can book an appointment with Kelly at Bella Fiore and you can come to the shop and look at her different flower walls she has. And you can book them rent a wall for an event that's not here. It could be at your house. It could be at your store. So this is her gallery area that she's just starting this. And we have a space for her we're working on. I can't wait to give us another 6 weeks and it'll be amazing.
So I was just thinking to myself, I was just imagining like having some type of event in there with a beautiful flower wall. And then like Stephanie maybe catering some of it, right? And that just all really, really comes together as this beautiful space that you can offer so much to people. So that's wonderful. I love to hear that.
It's also really funny and fitting that across the street from our shop is a Presque Isle tent and table. And so you can rent party equipment, extra tables and extra chairs, and they just roll it over. It's just like it was meant to be.
Oh, that's super cool. That's super cool. Yeah. Let's go back to Presley and Pear real quick. Have you always been an artsy person, a craft? I want to know, how does this all you just have to I think you just wake up every day with new ideas and you just keep executing them and it just seems to kind of all come together. Is that what it feels like for you?
Exactly. It's the best thing ever. I was talking to you last week and I told you I'm a morning person and you said, so are you. That's what happens from, 4 a.m. until, 8:30 when I take the last kid to school is there's a lot of planning and crafting and researching. It's really fun because now I have people calling me and saying, my daughter's turning 9. And I ask, what colors does she like? What music does she like? And to kind of give them custom ideas to celebrate it's so fun. So it's always changing. That's a birthday side. But then I really got into sensory trays and sensory play. And this is something earlier this spring, we joined Visit Erie. And the lady from Visit Erie came to visit Presley and Pear. And I just remember her saying something about sensory play and it triggered me. And I immediately there's things I like to make with beans and rice. And I like to color things and have it be playful. And she mentioned that, there's always a need for that. And it just kind of took off. So I love sensory play. It's just, there's so many different ways to take that on. And also something I never would have expected because I, had my kids in mind of, things they would like and things they want to play with. And now I'm meeting people in the special needs community, in the autism community, and it's so fun because I didn't plan for that. And it's just naturally sprouting out.
Right. So it's funny how you start to develop and you start speaking of these things, how it attracts what it needs to attract. And then it just keeps building from there. Right. So you're
Yes.
really a manifester. You wake up in the morning, you have these ideas, you start executing them. If you're like me, you really have no idea where they're going, but you just know if you just take that next step and keep going, that road is going to come up to meet you and it's just going to keep you going as you go, right?
Yep.
It
starts with an idea and I'm not afraid to put it out there. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, oh well. And, it also helps to have very supportive people around you because my husband, Pat, anything, he's like, yeah, let's do it. And his dad is like, yeah, let's build it. And I'm like, whoa, what's that? So,
Yeah.
I may have cool, crafty ideas and may not have skill, but when you're married into the construction life, it's very cool.
Support makes a huge, because you can have all the ideas that you want, but if you don't have that support system, but if it wasn't for you, supporting that support system, then none of that would happen as well. So that's beautiful to see how that all rolls out. How long is Presley and Pear? So you have the shop at 19th, which is you working with everybody else to help them create their visions. But then I feel like Presley and Pear is really your vision of something that you needed for yourself, your family, and your kids, right? How long has Presley and Pear been around?
We're about to turn 1 on Valentine's Day. So I feel like we had our first event last February, and it was just a few days before Valentine's Day.
Okay. And walking into that space, like you said, it's so visual, and it's so, what I loved was the little mats that you had on the floor that you can step on, and it pushes the goo to the side to side. It reminds me of when I was a kid, I had sticker books, right? And we had the stickers that you could push around, and it had the goo in it and all of that. And it's just so much fun. As a kid, there's nothing better than something like that, right? So
I learned cool things for my kids. And one day Gwen came home, and they have sensory rooms at school. And she was like, Mom, there are these cool sensory floor tiles. And immediately I'm like searching it, and I'm like, this sounds amazing. So yeah, it's just common things. We have really cool schools around, and there's a lot of people doing fun things. And when I catch an idea, it's a fun one. Yeah.
So people can rent out space there. Is that how your operations work currently, right? They call you and say, hey, I'd like to rent out this space. I've got 3 kids. We need something to do for the afternoon. Yes.
Yeah, it's like book a craft time. It's like book an hour. If you're talking about Presley and Pear, yeah.
Okay.
Like you could come for an hour or 2, or if you had a birthday party or a different type of celebration inside here, yeah, you customize it.
Okay. Now, would you offer this space to adults who want to come craft? Is that a possibility as well?
Yep. It actually, when I first opened, it was a lot of adult craft nights, and it was so fun. We did printmaking, we did crochet, we did jewelry making, and then it just like comes in waves of like what's happening. And then it very much turned into slime. For about 4 months, I felt like all I was doing was slime, and I kind of phased out to sensory. And then now it's like serious birthday parties all the time. I'm getting birthday parties, but because February is rolling around and Gem City Mercantile open, all of the ladies and hopefully sometime some guy crafters will come in and host a workshop. So if you're a crafty person and you want to host a class inside Presley and Pear, you can go to our website and click on host a class. It's the easiest thing. And then you create, the flyer and the events. You create the cost that you think it's going to be. We have a little tiny fee that we throw in there per person, and it's that easy. So we have 2 booked so far for February, 2 adult workshops, and I have a 3rd one coming, and I'm excited. It's going to be a paint and pour. That'll be interesting.
I have a friend of mine who just recently started a crushed glass class, and it's kind of like stained glass, but you put the glass in there and then you put some type of epoxy on top of it or whatever. So I wonder if that might be, I'll have to toss your name out to her and see if maybe that space there might be good for her to offer that. So the reason you created this space isn't just for the crafts, to have people come. I mean, there are stories that come with the people that you meet that come into your space, whether it be with their kids or, any of the shops there. Tell me a memorable moment that perhaps sticks out to you out of all the things that you're creating up there, where you say, you walk away and you go, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Anything come to mind for you?
Well, I'll tell you, sometimes, I'll make a craft, and after a few weeks, I'll be like, I don't know, maybe this is dumb, or I don't think maybe it's too simple. And then, for instance, we had a craft time a few days ago, and the mother brought in a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, and they had the best mommy and me experience ever. And the little ones both leave choosing things that I thought weren't cool anymore. And so let me tell you, my little bowl of spaghetti and meatballs, it's like back, and it's happening, and it's turning pink we're going to do pink pasta for Valentine's Day. So I'm so happy that that happened. Anytime I doubt something, somebody will come in and say something that's kind of uplifting. So I know I'm not just, you know what I mean.
But it's those little moments like that, because you, as somebody who keeps themselves busy, and you have so many different things going on. And I think this is what's important as an entrepreneur and somebody who owns a business. It's those tiny moments throughout the day, despite all the frustrations and all the challenges that you have to go through. When somebody turns to you and say, thank you, I just had the best hour of this week with my children here. That's why you're doing what you're doing, right?
There's one other thing I didn't bring up yet, and I think I mentioned it to you last week. Okay, so we get a little busy when we have 20 kids here for a party. And so I'm finding ways to have help and helpers around here. And I always kind of pictured teens coming to help, because little kids want to look up to big kids. You don't always need these motherly figures or these adults. And so I have one 15-year-old and one 16-year-old girl. They're both daughters of ladies who work here that are helping me now at Presley Pear. So I get to kind of show them the ropes and help them with interaction and socializing at a different level than they're used to. So I'm really excited about that.
So you get to mentor them as they learn how to mentor younger children, right? So
Yes.
you start to see that trickle down in how everybody is helping each other out as they learn and grow, right?
Yes, exactly. It's another thing I wasn't planning for, and I'm so happy it's happening.
I love it. I love it. Erie is really on the brink of, with everything that's happening downtown and all these beautiful, unique, I don't even know what to call them, spaces in some of our outer skirts of the city. It's really becoming this tourist town where people can come and hang out and find these pockets of beautiful areas like this. Is that where you see the Shop on 19th going as more of a unique type of, you want to open that up a little bit, or tell us a little bit more about your vision on that?
Okay, so that specifically, my name is Rachel, and I'm a Little Italy ambassador. I love Little Italy. I gave myself that title because I'm always talking about it. We work with the Sisters of St. Joseph Neighborhood Network a lot. They do a lot for the neighborhood. There's so many community gardens here. Yes. Also, the Little Italy Farmers Market, which happens June through September, is a big deal. And so I'm always trying to find ways to connect the people who go to that market to us and here and in the whole census tract, which we're Census Tract 19. We recently have been working on a study to help basically rejuvenate and bring some light to our census tract. And our tract goes, we are the bottom corner. The shop is 19th and Chestnut. And then if you picture where the Tipsy Bean is.
Okay, yes.
Up there, like 26th and Peach, that's the top. And then like Whippy Dip, 26th and Chestnut. So we're like this square. And it's fun to work on like walking paths and little fun things to do. So when you come here to our neighborhood, which a lot of people don't right now, there's a lot of bakeries going on. It's fun. There's other art workshops right around the corner that have popped up in the last couple of years. So it's exciting. I know in August is the Little Italy, it's Italian Fest.
Yes.
So I've always wanted to incorporate something how we can be open, and when everybody goes to get their spaghetti dinner at the Italian Fest, they can, meander around here as well. So that's a big goal.
I love that. Yeah, you guys could have tables outside or just really
live music, food trucks.
Bringing that whole community together, right? So, and that is one thing about Erie is, we have these pockets of these beautiful cultural areas, some of them having a bad rep for the last, several years. And then you have people like you coming in, revitalizing the areas, bringing people in, showcasing what a beautiful space it is. And I think that is something that's very special. And kudos to you for doing all of the amazing things that you're doing up there. Really, Rachel.
I want to just say one thing on that note. So being here, and maybe people feel like, no, is that neighborhood safe? And like, you come here at night, and I get that question. And let me tell you, what I've learned. And I know nothing is set in stone. I know bad things can happen anywhere. But when we focus and we have an event and we open our doors and we have our lights on, all good things happen.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It just brings good to the world. If we were closed down, if we chose never to fix up this building, I'm sure bad things would be happening in here, you know?
Right.
So if we bring that positivity
Yes.
here, it happens around and the bad things just kind of go away. And I feel very comfortable saying that.
Yes. It's in the void, right? And that's kind of what I'm talking about, where I'm talking about people at the end of the day, when we don't know what to do with ourselves, that's when we do things that maybe we shouldn't be doing, right? And I'm talking from the perspective of somebody who drank for years and years, you know, and I quit drinking 2 years ago. And there's a reason why I'm doing what I'm doing here, because I want to get to know my city, because I want to know the productive and positive things that I can be a part of. But I know there's a lot of other people out there who feel the same way, and you only know what you know. And if you're able to be introduced to things that you don't know in a nice, easy way like this, of spaces that they can go and feel comfortable and do positive, productive things, creative things, processing things, right? So the art that you're doing there is a way to express ourselves, to process our feelings, to process our emotions, which is a lot of times what we're all trying to avoid, right? At the end of the day, you're creating a space where people can come and feel it and express it. And that is what's important in a city like ours. As we grow and as we invite more people into our town, we need to showcase spaces like this, right?
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I believe in that, every word you just said.
Yes.
Yep.
Awesome. How do you feel the Erie community has embraced the Shop on 19th?
I think it's fun. What I hear is, I never knew this place existed. So we're still there at that little cusp of people knowing that we exist and people not. So, I mean, I'm in a place where I'm very happy because I'm so busy that if it got any busier, I'd be, scrambling a little more. So slow growth is good for us. We're not into rushing anything.
But there's something to be said about that mystery vibe of places, right? So you've got this underground thing going on where the people who need to find out about it right at the right time, right? And it's slowly building that community without opening the doors and just inviting everybody in, right? So there's a cool, unique vibe to that, which I think...
I'm glad you like that, because we just always call ourselves under the radar, and we kind of like it.
Yeah.
There's a little mystery about it, and, I don't know why you have to show everything off, like come in and see, and you can, find out what you like and what you can do here. But
well, and that
it's back and forth, because when you have tenants here, like now give a crepe here,
right.
It's like, well, we want the world to come, so she's busy and open. And the same thing with Gem City Mercantile. But it's fun to just kind of walk in and see, like, what's new. And a lot of people say this, and I love it too, is, okay, if you've been here once and you come back, it looks different, or something's changed, something new happened. It's constantly in a state of change, which is great. There's one thing we didn't talk about yet, and I can't wait, because I've been talking about it for years, but other projects get put ahead of it.
Tell us.
At the end of our building, which is right close to our parking lot and Presley and Pear, we have an old truck dock. So it's just 2 giant 18-foot gray garage doors and a big space with a slanted floor. And what it's going to be is a Greenhouse Café. We're going to turn the garage doors to glass panels. The roof is going to go clear. All the plants are going to go inside. And it's going to be this vibrant, warm, green space where when we have all this snow and you need to be somewhere to feel happy and with nature, that is where you're going to want to go. It's going to be the greenhouse here.
I am super excited that you brought that up, because I didn't want to mention it in case you were trying to keep it under wraps, but I
I don't know when it's happening. The guys show up. I don't know. So, but I think I was hoping for sometime in the next year, and maybe someone told me maybe 6 months. So we'll see. I'm sure a year would be great.
So is this going to be one of your ventures, or are you bringing in somebody to run this, or how is that going to all come about, you think?
How things work typically around here are we fit out the space, we build it how we see it. And then once it gets to a point where it's nice enough, then the right people will start calling and will come in, or just magically happen. Like I met the crepe lady magically came in on Earth Day, and somehow we ended up, finding the perfect spot for her. And when I met Corey from Gem City, she magically came into our spring fling market. So yes.
That's because you're a manifester, Rachel.
Yes. I would love somebody to come in and say, I want to run the cafe part of the Greenhouse Café. And I would love a few people to come in and say, listen, I'm so good with plants. I can get this going. I just want to walk in and have it be there, and I'll be happy. I don't have a super green thumb, but, we are still willing to design it and make it. And if it ends up being something that we run, I'm ready for that too.
All right. Well,
I'm just really excited either way.
So maybe putting this out there right now is the sign that you never know where this will go. That's amazing. I love that. That's great. Cool. Anything else you want to tell us about your vision? I mean, you've obviously got that next step there that you're doing there. Where do you see 5-10 years down the road here?
5 or 10 years down the road, I see us over on East Avenue.
Oh,
we have some buildings.
Oh my God.
That are
because I live over on that side, and I know exactly where you're talking about. And
right where they tore down the bridge, we acquired a few buildings, and one of them is so cool I can't even stand it. It needs at least 5 years of serious design and just fixing it up. But I cannot wait for that to happen. There's sort of an idea which Pat, my husband, is kind of steering in his brain, is it's gonna definitely be towards recycling and like any type of companies that are focusing on making things better.
Right.
So, but there will be office space, there will be other kind of space available. Yeah, there's a lot in this one building. It's so good and I love it so much. I'm just not sure about code and that in such an industrial place. Yeah. But one thing that I really would love to do is do a boutique hotel in a very industrial area, and it would be an industrial boutique hotel, and it would be 15 rooms, and there would be one space is like your own living room, and one space is like the bedroom, and the downstairs would be an atrium and like a little circular coffee bar, and I want that to happen.
Oh,
if that cannot happen, it's already zoned office, so we can make them a very cool office space situation.
And I'll tell you what, the East Side, especially in that area, like what you're doing up in Little Italy, that type of revitalization would be fantastic to see happening over here. So
okay, let me tell you one more thing.
Okay.
Because I'm just too excited. I'll have to bring you over for a tour. For when you go to Pittsburgh or Cleveland or anywhere that has a lot of highways and like underpasses, and they do a little bit of redevelopment underneath, we have that set up for the next space that we're looking to redevelop. So you'll have that wow factor when we're done for like an indoor and outdoor space, and you're going to feel like you're in a different city, which is cool. So we have the Bayfront connector is above us, and we're actually below it. And there's a little road by that little baseball field on 12 that connects you right there. Yes. It's like the cutest little road. And that's what I'm excited for.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You know what they're doing over on 12th Street there, a little bit more west, where the Erie County Redevelopment, I believe, bought those big warehouses similar to what you have over there. Yeah. And they're redeveloping that. So that's really, it would be really cool to see that mirror of what's happening on West 12th to happening on East 12th, to really connect that whole corridor together and bring the mid-city like that together like that. I love that idea.
I think it's exciting.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Rachel, Your energy, your enthusiasm is so infectious. I walked away after I met you just spinning and reeling with positivity and ideas, and I'm excited to see all the things that you and your husband are doing. Yeah.
That's so nice to meet you. And I didn't know you existed until you interviewed Stephanie from Give a Crepe. And so that's how just your one-on-one meetings are very powerful. And you're doing this job of connecting everybody. So I'm just sitting here in Little Italy, and you're the one connecting everybody.
Yes, but it's all going to come together, right? So I'm already working with the Bella Fiore. We're going to do the bride thing on the 16th up there. So you never know where connections go. And that's exactly what this is all about, so that we can all just keep creating and manifesting and lifting our community up. So
this sounds great, and I'm so happy that we met.
Me too, Rachel. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And crap, I don't even know who we have on next, but it's probably going to be somebody amazing as well. And Rachel, I'll be talking to you in just a minute, okay? I'll see you backstage.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Okay, bye.